humanity afforded a glimpse into a microworld thanks to the microscope invention by Anthony van Leeuwenhoek, who discovered bacteria in 1675. Since then, humanity has witnessed the role of microorganisms in various ways, including in fermentation. It took 200 years to recognize the prominent role of microorganisms in fermentation. It's all started from Louis Pasteur's discovery in 1857. Discovered from sour milk, lactic acid is an organic acid that naturally found in microbes, plants, and animals. Lactic acid can be classified as both acid and alcohol, which are produced either by fermentation or chemical synthesis. Lactic acid fermentation, or also known as lactofermentation, is the most common and easiest method of preservation. Basically, it involves glucose as the substrate and will be converted into lactic acid by lactic acid bacteria. Believe it or not, lactic acid fermentation has been long applied unconsciously by humans for centuries. So, you might be curious on how lactic acid is fermented by using bioreactor. The production of lactic acid majorly prepared by fermentation of carbohydrates by homolactic microbes such as genus Lactobacillus bacteria. Typically, lactofermentation is conducted by using batch fermentation. For the first step in batch fermentation, Lactobacillus is cultured in series of inoculum vessels prior to the fermentation. Usually, the inoculum culture accounted for about 5 to 10% of fermentation total volume. The carbon sources from raw materials such as sugarcane molasses is treated prior to the fermentation to convert it into a fermentable carbohydrate that is added into the bioreactor. In the bioreactor, Lactobacillus fermenting carbohydrates under anaerobic condition. The presence of aldolase enzymes exclusively in lactic acid bacteria made the conversion of glucose into lactic acid become easier. The parameters of lactofermentation usually require temperature about 35 to 45 degrees Celsius and pH between 5 to 6.5. The utilization of 1 mole of glucose by Lactobacillus produces 2 molecules of lactic acid as the major end product. Lactobacillus is a type of homofermentative lactic acid bacteria which able to convert hexose and pentose sugars by using glycolysis and pentose phosphate pathways. Since the fermentation broth contains impurities, they need to be removed in order to recover pure lactic acid as the last step in the lactofermentation. So, you might also ask, is Lactobacillus the only microorganism that can be used for lactic acid fermentation? The answer is no. Other microorganisms that can be used in lactofermentation, such as Leuconostoc, Lactococcus, Carnobacterium, and Rhizopus genera. Lactic acid has various kinds of applications. One of them is food preservative. Lactic acid is used to preserve yogurt, kefir, and cheese. Lactic acid is also used as a flavoring agent. It used to enhance the savory taste of foods and widely used in food industries. Besides that, lactic acid is also used as a stabilizing agent. It helps in stabilizing cakes and mayonnaise. Lactic acid is also widely utilized in the pharmaceutical industries to produce medicinal goods, beauty products, detergents, as well as disinfectants. There is no doubt that fermentation led us to a brighter way in bioprocess technologies. Now, it's up to us in transforming impossible become possible things.